Hello and welcome to Mike's Garage. If you've already subscribed to our channel, great, thank you very much. If you haven't, please do. And when you do, be sure and tap on the notification bell so you'll be notified every time one of our new videos comes up. And if you tap on the little like button, we like that too. Well, I decided we have to do something a little special here. We've been working on my buddy Jim's bike here, which is a 97 Fatboy, and we've been taking it apart on the video channel and just going along and showing each step of the way as we take it apart, preparing for the new top end. And we did show the new top end, but it suddenly occurred to me that one of the things I didn't do that I wanted to do was to really compare between the original components and the components we're going to use. Why we're going to all of this difficulty, all of this effort. Thank you. Anyway, so let me get into it here. I kind of wanted to go over it with Jim at the same time, and that's what we're going to do. We're kind of in close quarters here, so if I walk on and off the camera, that's kind of the way it is. Anyway, first off, Dave Mackey Engineering did these heads for us. So we dug up an extra pair of heads so that Jim's bike wouldn't be down. This is an original head. It's all dirty because we just pulled it off. And this is one of the heads that we had prepped for the bike. So the way I'd like to show it is to start at the beginning. Let's start at the beginning with an intake manifold maybe. And let me get my flashlight here. And this intake manifold here is a stock manifold. This is an original manifold that hasn't been modified. But if you look in that manifold, it's not bad. But compared to what we've got done now, it's just a rough casting. You can see the seam, the parting line there where it was cast. Things like that. This manifold has been all machined out inside and flowed and textured. Textured for the atomization of air and fuel, so it breaks it down the way it should be. And you can see the way this thing, I hope I'm showing it well enough. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. You know, trying to see, you can't really tell. You can see this step in here, which is no more in here. It's been really beveled properly and contoured perfectly. Can you see all that, Jim?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now that's the manifold. So we got it going from the carburetor, air and fuel from the carburetor, going into the intake manifold, coming out of the intake manifold, going into the intake port. So here's a stock head. This is a good stock head. There's not a darn thing wrong with it. And you can look and see the way the casting is from the factory. You can see the original valve guide. And so now we'll look at the intake side. Intake side, yeah. The intake side of the head that's been redone. And you can see the way all of this has been reshaped, comparing again to the original. Look at the taper on the valve guide. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but look at the back side of the valve. Right in there. We see that? You see the back side of that valve? Look at how much more room this one makes and how much better flow you're going to get in that one.
Yeah.
See the back side of that valve?
Mm-hmm.
The back side of the valve, and again the taper, the contour in here. I mean, this stuff is all, believe me, way beyond my capabilities, and I look at it and it just blows me away. But and again, the perfect texture for the atomization of air and fuel.
Yeah, you can just see how much freer things would flow in there.
Well, yeah, not only that, but it's all matched to the manifold to make a perfect intake tract. Okay? That's the intake. Then it gets into the chamber. And here is an original Harley-Davidson Evolution cylinder head that we just took off the bike. Again, not a thing in the world wrong with it. It was running very well.
Porsche design.
Yeah, Porsche designed. Supposedly Porsche designed the Evolution top end. I tell you, they lasted better than anything Harley had ever had before. And so I'm impressed with them. But they run good. I mean, they make a lot of power. It doesn't take a lot to make them fast. This is going to a whole new level, however. This is very cool. So let's look at this chamber by comparison. Look at the way it's shaped. Look in here as opposed to what we had.
Maybe we can go side by side.
Yeah? How's that work? Like that?
Mm-hmm.
There. That's pretty good. There, now I'll use this corny pointer again. Here it is stock, which is why it has a flat top piston, which is right here. This is a stock type piston. It's actually a stroker piston, which we discussed earlier. But this is the same configuration in the cylinder head as stock. Now, this whole chamber's been reshaped. Those beautiful valves. And all this polishing. And again, the reshaping of the chamber. And of course, we can't use a flat top piston in something that beautiful. We need a piston that's going to fit. Do I want that flashlight or do you? Here. Well, that piston is going to fit right. It's going to work exactly like it should.
You can tell how much more lift there is in the
Oh, yeah.
treatment on the top of the deck and how much deeper they...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can see the difference in this piston. This is what Dave Mackey Engineering calls their Megasphere system. And this is what we're going to do. And it's going to be wonderful. So, okay, we came in through the intake, which is the best place to go in, through the intake. And we've gone through the chamber. We went through this valve and into the chamber and now out to the exhaust. Now, here's an original stock exhaust port. You can see in there, it's naturally all dirty. That's just standard operating stuff. You can see the valve guide. You see the valve in there, Mike? There. Is that working? And now we have the new one. And look at that raised roof in there and the contour there and the valve guides. And of course the exhaust is polished so that carbon and stuff won't stick to it and it'll flow smoothly and at tremendous volume. So that's how the heads are going to work. The heads and the pistons and the intake manifold, this all makes for a tremendous system. Now if we go up to the top of it, we can see these absolutely trick valve springs and titanium collars, all this good stuff. And of course, in this whole treatment, the heads were of course set up to a very substantial lift cam. So a good hot cam and all of this work and a 4 and 5/8 stroker, I think this thing's going to run like $1 million. I think it's just going to be more fun than eating ice cream. And very few things are more fun than eating ice cream. So,
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm super excited. This stuff is looking so good.
I think it's beautiful. I think we pretty well covered it. What I really wanted to show was the comparison, and I hope I've shown that. And if that's the case, then we're ready to, I think tomorrow is going to be cleanup day. We're going to clean all the parts and get ready to put this thing back together, and we will be putting it together on the YouTube channel. So for now, I think that's about it. I hope we didn't leave anything out. Of course, when we assemble it, we'll show everything else that we're putting on the outside of it. And that'll be it. So until then, See you out on the road.